Hi folks, welcome to week 3, module 3. I thought I would give a little video announcement this week because I noticed that some of you are having a hard time sort of thinking through and coming up with how to structure your assignments. And I don't know about you, but sometimes when I can actually see somebody's face, it can help me a little bit just to sort of connect that dot. So I'm going to spend a little bit of extra time on your two sort of big assignments that we have this week. Module 3 is focused on research, so you'll have an opportunity to go back into the library and do a little bit of additional research if you need to find some more sources you don't like the ones that you found in week 2 or week 1. We're also going to spend some time evaluating our sources. This means thinking through, are they reliable? Are they credible? What kind of sources are they? Are they scholarly? Are they news, popular sources? And then thinking about, how am I actually going to use these sources in my argument? And that will be the sort of big assignment for the week, which is you'll be constructing a writing plan, which is, builds to our final persuasive essay. So let's see. So like I said, you'll be thinking about your sources and you'll be using, I know this is really funny to say, the CRAPO method. So you'll be thinking about each of your sources, and you'll have the opportunity to, in MindEdge, go through and ask the sources. CRAPO is an acronym, right? So each of the letters stand for something. Is the source current? When was it written? If it's, about computer science and, it's about, if your topic is focused on artificial intelligence, you may not want a source that was written in 2001 because so much has changed, right, since 2001. So you really want something that's more current. Is this source relevant? That's another question you're going to be asking. How does it, connect to my topic? So you're going to be thinking about a lot of different elements of these sources. And one thing to really keep in mind is that no source is ever going to be truly objective, right? None of us are, no author is. Even if they're writing, a scientific study, they bring all of their experiences with them, their studies, but that doesn't mean that you don't trust these sources. It just means that you really want to look for a source that's balanced. Does it acknowledge the opposing view? Does it, do they use evidence from other credible sources to support their statements and their claim? So there is a lot that goes into evaluating a source, and it's really important to do this and just instead of throwing any source willy-nilly into your argument, right? So you also want to think about how you are going to use these sources. How are you going to incorporate each source to support your key points, right? Different kinds of sources can take, be used in different ways. Sometimes you want to use a statistic, right? 35% of college students are experiencing stress. Okay, that can be really important to use a statistic like that. Other times you may want to use a different kind of evidence. Researchers show that, meditation really does help college students deal with their stress, right? So there are different kinds of sources that you use. One other thing to think about, and it's okay if this happens, is that it's okay to change your opinions, to shift your focus, to go in a different direction based on the work that you've done so far. You may find a few sources that actually change your mind, and that's okay. Nothing is written in stone. And you feel free to let me know if you want to change your topic or if you're just going into a different direction and you have questions. That's just a part of the process of researching and writing an argument, is that, you might change your mind. So before we jump into the writing plan, you're also going to create an annotated bibliography. And sometimes students have a hard time constructing their bibliography. So what I love about this class is that each assignment, each module sort of builds on the one before it, right? So of course this course culminates in a big persuasive argument, and it's going to take us 8 weeks to get there, right? So now in week 3, we've done some research, you have at least 3 sources, and you're going to create what's called an annotated bibliography. So a bibliography is a list of sources. So think of it as a reference page or a works cited. So as you can see, it's going to have, this is an annotation, so you'll have to create a citation. I'm sorry, I misspoke. This is your citation. So you'll have to use APA or MLA style, and there's plenty of information about these citation styles in MindEdge this week. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. There is information there to help you. So you'll have your citation, and then you're going to write the annotation, and that's these 1 or 2 paragraphs about the source. And I added this bullet list from the guidelines for the assignment. So you're going to identify the source, that's your citation, and then you want to summarize it. And this summary should just be 2 or 3 sentences. What's the source about? What's the main idea? If you had just a really quick amount of time to tell somebody about this article, you do that right here. And does the source support your argument? This is really important because when you're constructing an argument, you do want to include information about the opposing view. Again, it's that whole idea of balance, right? You always want to acknowledge the opposing view. And maybe you find a really great source that supports the opposing argument, right? You also want to explain why the source is credible. And you're going to use the worksheet that you filled out, that you completed in MindEdge. You're going to take that information and you're going to, use it in here. Why is this source credible? Because it's current, because it's relevant to the topic, because it has the purpose is to do such and such. The information is accurate, okay? And then finally, you want to explain how the source supports at least one of your main points. It's really important that you do this because going forward, this helps you think through how you use this evidence. Where is it going to be located? What is it going to support? How are these sources going to help you prove your argument? And it should look kind of like this, right? So you have your citation, and then you have 1 to 2 paragraphs describing the source. Okay, I hope that makes sense. And of course, if you have questions, again, email me. That's my job. I'm here to help, and we can meet over the phone or in a Zoom. Okay, the next and final part of this video is going to be helping you figure out your writing plan. Now, this writing plan is like your strategy for your persuasive essay. So we're not just dumping you into week 7 having to write a draft and having no idea what you're doing. This plan so early in the course is going to sort of help you gather and organize your thoughts. It's going to help you figure out where you're going to use what source and how, right? Because it's all about communication. What is the best way to communicate my argument to my specific audience? Every audience is different. I speak differently when I'm trying to persuade my kids, and especially like trying to persuade my toddler versus how am I going to persuade my teenagers, right? How do I persuade my husband versus when I need to persuade my boss? The way I structure my argument is so different. And you're going to be thinking about this in your writing plan. And I know this is a lot of text right here, but I just wanted to tell you this is in Brightspace. you can find all of this information. And one thing to think about is, I know a lot of you had a hard time figuring out, how do I construct this? Do I write it in a paragraph? One thing that you can do that would be really helpful is just to take these numbers and reflect that in your assignment. So you can say number 1, and then my argument is this, right? It's related to my major because it's a really, important topic right now, etc., right? Then you can really just follow this outline and the numbers. And I think that's going to be, a really easy way to help you keep structured and organized for now. Again, think about who your audience is. Really think about that audience. What is the best way to interact with an audience? If you're writing about AI and your audience are other computer science majors, right? You may want to use, big words, and I can't even think of any right now because I'm not a computer science person, but, you may be using the jargon of your discipline. If your audience is a group of parents or school administrators, then it's going to be very different, right? So you really want to think about what is the best way to communicate to your audience, and also what are some challenges, right? For parents, if I'm trying to communicate them a challenge is, they oftentimes, parents believe that they know what's best for their children. So why you may have to think about, how can I prove to them that, I, the writer, have a good idea about what is helpful to them, right? So just what are some of the challenges that you'll need to overcome? So I really want you to sort of go through each one of these numbers, right? And that is what I want you to do when you submit this assignment. The more thought and time you put into it, the more thorough a job you do, the easier your job is going to be moving forward as you write your essay. And then just finally, it should be 2 to 3 pages. Please submit your assignments in a Word doc. It's going to go through Turnitin, and Turnitin needs to have, I think, either a PDF or a Word document. Again, use citation styles, AP or MLA. You can find information about that in MindEdge this week. Good luck this week. We have a lot to do. Get started early and reach out to me early if you have any problems. I hope you all have a great week, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where you go with each of these notes. I learn so much every time I teach a class, because there's so many things I don't know about, and all of your majors and careers are, they run such a range. So I love learning from you all. So anyways, again, have a good week, and please don't hesitate to reach out to me.